with Jess Rose. How are we all? 1 second, let me lighten this screen up a little bit. It's really dark. How's that? How we all doing out there? Welcome back to my channel, True Crime with Jess Rose. Warwick, you first. If you're watching tomorrow, I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Tuesdays are my request night, and Thursdays I like to bring something a little bit different. But if you're watching tomorrow, why aren't you here on the live? Do you know what? Does the screen look really dark? Hey Kelly, how we doing? Hey sis. Oh, you're third tonight. You're behind. Does the screen look really dark? Does it look really dark to you, or does it look like normal? Is it okay? I can't say. It looks really dark tonight. But I haven't done anything different. I've got everything on as I have normally. Maybe because I can't see the mirror. I'm not too sure. But how are we all anyway? It's Thursday. It's Thursday. Hey Phil, how you doing? Hey Hayley. How are we all? Are we all okay? Can you believe it's Thursday already? What about the football last night as well? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Absolutely not. Look at your comments on the post. Oh, over who was first. Are we fighting over who was first? Is that what's going on? See, Warwick was the first one I noticed. That's why I said first. But, you know, oh, check that out. I've done that contour. I've contoured that within an inch of its life, haven't I? So, did we watch the football last night? What did we think? What did we think of the footy last night? Bit of a shock. Bit boring in the second half, but do you want to know why I'm so excited? Because on Monday morning, the school, we don't have to bring the kids in till 10 o'clock. So that cheers me up just on that alone. So how are we all anyway? What do you think of this one tonight? I thought I'd do a little bit of a different one to you. If you are watching tomorrow, if you want to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/JessRose5472. Like I say, the Dutch were not right. Okay, all right, the penalty. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how. Well, I do. I'm very happy. But had it been the other way around, yes, I wouldn't have been too impressed. I'll own it now. I will say it now. Well, I was going to say something then. Yes, if you would like to like, comment, and subscribe. I do like to have a chat with everyone who's here on the live. So like I'm saying, come and join us on a Tuesday and a Thursday, 8 p.m. every week. But if you don't and you're just watching tomorrow or later on today, that's fine. Just going to have a little chat with everyone. And then I'll start. I'll take the browser. Live with a strange man. That's very funny. Yes. And what was it? Oh, do you know they keep fading out again? 1 second. Viva España. Look at you. That's mean. That's so mean. But who just put I live with a strange man again? Who was that? It's just fading in and out. Yes. So you're choosing the bear. That. Poor stay. But last night we played the best we played in the tournament. That's very true, Phil. We did. The second half, meh. But you're right, the first half, fabulous. And I always say, as long as we are behind, we always play great. The minute we score first, that's it. You might as well just go home. Because the minute we score first in any tournament, for some reason, we sit back and go, oh, we've won. And it never works out that way. So, yes, I was kind of relieved when they scored first last night. I'm not going to lie, in a sick way, because I thought they might kick back now. And they did. So, I know you're not impressed, Warwick, but you know what? We're all happy here. We're all happy here for various reasons. So, I got my mic on, got my headphones. Have you checked out Bauhaus? I don't know what that is. I don't know. That's just nothing to do with me, is it? That's just nothing to do with me. So, okay, right. I thought I'd do a different one tonight, and I'm going to tell you all why. All right, it might be a little chat for you in the comments, but I happened to watch, I think I've mentioned it, there's a podcast. I don't know how I've ended up watching it. I don't know. It's called the Whatever Podcast. If you've heard of Fit and Fresh, they're these podcasts where it's red pill content, and there's a fly, there's a dragonfly, and it's attracted to my light. I knew there was a reason I didn't use a light. Okay, I'm going to try not to get sidetracked by it. But, yes, it's kind of red pill content. It's easy watching. It's car crash telly. You have to look at it that kind of way. And anyway, I don't know if this question had already gone out on the internet, but it was the first time I'd seen it. And the question was to these girls, if you... Okay, so I'm going to ask you all to sit back and think and try and imagine for yourselves. If you were in gamer speak, respawned or spawned, I think it's called, or just airdropped. You just dropped into the middle of the woods, or you wake up in the middle of the woods, okay? Let's just say that happens and you just wake up, you're in the middle of the woods, and you're on your own, of course. The question is, who would you prefer to come up against in that scenario? Would you prefer to come up against a random bear? Random bear. We're not going into variables, just a random bear or a random man. Okay? That's the question. Simple as that. All right? So, when I watched this podcast, every girl bar one, I think, and there was about 10 girls there, answered they would prefer to come up against a bear. Now, I'm not going to tell you my choice and what I would choose, what I said at the time, what I say now, what I say at the end. I'll tell you all at the end my own personal opinion. But I was surprised, let's just say that, at just how many chose the bear. Okay? So I thought it was just on the podcast. I thought, okay, next thing you know, next podcast, new group of girls ask the same question, same response. They all would choose the bear. Okay? Then I started to notice it had gone viral. I'd started to notice that this question had gone viral. It had, it had gone viral. And I noticed on my Facebook, on Twitter, mainly women, of course, because it's a random man. But definitely the bear. I can't be listening to another bloke talk. Okay. Phil's going for the man. Tiffany's going for the bear. So I noticed Twitter, Facebook, same scenario, mostly women answering, and majority bear. Okay, that's their response. Now, I am going to say that the story I'm going to tell you tonight, I'd heard of quite a while ago, and it did cause a little fascination with bears from my part. So, when I heard the question, I was a little bit surprised by people's responses. So, hence the reason I'm going to tell you this story tonight. And then at the end of the story, I'm going to ask you all the question again. Okay? So, you can tell me your answer. You can put it in the comments tomorrow before you listen to the story, what your answer is. And then I'd like to know all your answers after. Okay? So I just thought it's a little bit different tonight. I know it's not our normal stuff. It's not exactly true crime, I suppose. It's not at all. But I just found it quite interesting, and given the fact that how viral this has gone, this particular question, and the answers that have been given, Oh, and let me just say as well, this isn't the question I'm asking. This isn't the question I've been asking. The question kind of morphed into, I noticed it on TikTok, it morphed into wives and girlfriends asking their husbands and boyfriends, look, if you were, if our daughter, so it completely changed the whole premise of the question, but they asked their partners, if our daughter was dropped into the woods, what would you prefer her to come up against, a man or a bear? And of course, so Hayley's going with the bear, as the bear can't chat back. So opposite to what, oh no, same as what Tiffany's saying, okay. Same as Jess's brother. Oh, brother, we're all Murphys. We're all Murphys. I'm not a Rose. It's a whole long story, but I'm a Murphy too. So, but yeah, so the partners, the husbands and the boyfriends and stuff, also quite, not surprisingly, but they'd said they'd prefer their child to come up against a bear too. So, like I say, when I heard this story that I'm going to tell you tonight, it had started a fascination of mine with bears. If you watch Joe Rogan at all, he has an extreme fascination with bears. So Jamie bring up the footage of a bear. You know, if you watch Joe Rogan, you'll know what I'm saying. So, yeah, let me tell you this story. I've got everyone in the lives choice of what they will choose. If you're watching tomorrow, put in the comments what you would choose at the beginning. Okay, you're trying to make it. Right, okay. And we'll get on with the story. So, okay. So, I've titled it Man or Bear, the Timothy Treadwell Story. Okay. So, here we go. Right, okay. So, Timothy Dexter, he was originally known. He was born on the 29th of April, 1957. Now, before I start this story, there are lots and lots of different stories. This is, from what I can tell, the most famous currently of these type of stories. So this is why I'm doing this particular one. Okay, so born on the 29th of April 1957 in Mineola, New York, Long Island, I believe. It's Long Island, isn't it? Okay, so Mum, Carol, Dad, Val, obviously Dexter. Now, Timothy went to high school at Coniquet. Some names, my pronunciation's terrible of some of these, but he went to high school at Coniquet High School. He was known and he did love swimming. He was very gifted in it. He was the school swim team star diver. He was very, very talented. He also loved animals. He had a real, I don't know what you'd call it, like a, oh God, my word's gone. I don't know where my brain's gone tonight. He had a what's that word? He had that, he loved animals. Okay, well, I don't know why I'm trying to be clever. He loved animals anyway. So, he was on track and he was always amazing right up until he went to college. Now, in America they call it college, but it's university as well, and it was called Bradley University in Illinois. Now that's where he went. I have my own opinion of universities, and I'm going to keep that to myself, but more current day. Okay, but they're my opinion. They're not my opinion, but my opinion, should I say, is more current day. But I'm going to keep that to myself. So, but it began to change during his university years. And he started to begin to lie for some unknown reason. He went from saying he was an orphan to saying he came from Australia. I presume he changed his accent at uni. I don't know. I don't know why we do these things in our youth, but these were the things he was known for doing during those years. But then he moved to California and he wanted to become a star. Timothy did. He wanted to become a star. So he actually went up for the role. Now, if you are an 80s kid, well, I'm late 70s, but shush, you would remember a sitcom called Cheers. It was called. It had like Kirstie Alley in it, Ted Danson. And he went up for the role of Woody, who's kind of a dopey character in it, played by the person who got the part, Woody Harrelson. That's who actually got the part. So apparently this sent him on a spiral, which, as far as I know, you know, these auditions are really cutthroat, and a lot of stars go for many, many auditions. They don't, you know, unless you're very lucky, you don't get your part straight away, just off the cut. Anyway, he was devastated. It caused him to spiral, his dad said. So around this time, he begins drinking really heavily, okay? So then we get to 1987, and by this point, he's age 30. And he decides to change his surname from Dexter to Treadwell, which is why the story's named Timothy Treadwell, and that's why he's known as Timothy Treadwell. But it said that legally, although he'd been kind of calling himself that for a few years, legally he didn't change his name, so he was actually 30, which is, I don't know if it's unusual or not. I just found it a little bit unusual. But anyway, and Treadwell, although it wasn't his mother's maiden name, it was that side family names. That's where that came from. Now, though, by this point, he wasn't only drinking heavily. He'd hit drugs quite hard. And when I say quite hard, he was taking heroin. Is it taking? Is that what you say, taking heroin? I don't know. But anyway, he was on heroin. So, around 1989, he has an overdose. Near fatal overdose. Scared the life out of him. Like I say, nearly killed him. And basically, his friends were all worried about him. His family were very worried about him. And while trying to kind of regain some control over his life, because it was obviously spiralling quite badly, a friend of his, knowing how much he loved animals, remember I said it was like he'd always had a love for animals, he suggested for Timothy to travel to Alaska, okay? And there, it's known for their wild bears out there. So this was at a place called Katmai Coast. I'm going to say Katmai Coast. I don't know. I'm butchering all the words today. All the words, as Tiffany would say. All the words. But I'm butchering them all. So Katmai Coast. So in 1990, off he goes to Alaska. Katmai Coast. And from the minute he comes across his first bear, that was it. He was obsessed with going and seeing these bears in Alaska. Now, Katmai Coast, it would go to, it was a part that was food rich for the bears. That's where it would go. And it was kind of watched by park rangers and everything else. But the public could go. It was okay. It wasn't like a sneaky thing. You were allowed to go. You were allowed to go and visit them. And anyway, from the minute he found his first bear, he believed it was his calling in life. That was what he believed from that first second. and he believed it was his calling in life to protect and to raise awareness of bears, wild bears. And this was also his reason. He said that doing this for these bears and being around these bears was his reason for staying clean off the alcohol and the drugs. Like, he really tried to turn his life around and purely focus on his love and his admiration for these bears, and just wanting to raise, go out into the world and just raise awareness and basically say they're amazing animals, they're amazing creatures, and let people know what he was doing. And so Timothy would travel to Katmai, I think, I'm going to get pulled on that, but Katmai in Alaska at the early part of the season. Now, the season over there was from the end of May to end of May / beginning of June, and this is all the way through to September. And at this point, it was like the park's peak bear viewing. So as long as you stayed, it says around 100 yards or more away from them. Don't get in there. Don't obviously get near to them. They're bears, but you could view them in their wildlife and in their their own. I don't know what is wrong with my speech tonight. I can't think of any words tonight. I don't know what's wrong with me. In natural habitat, for goodness sake, got it anyway. To view them in their natural habitat, and I mean, I've got to admit, it sounds amazing to me, but what it was he started to get very attached to these bears, started to believe they liked him. Okay, so this is kind of where it was going. Now, in the latter months, so September to November, that was when the bears will continue their feeding. And what they do is, obviously, if you don't know, they try and fatten up before they go into hibernation. Little known fact, bears don't actually fully hibernate. Most animals don't go into a full state of hibernation. So I believe people have been caught out when they'd managed to find a bear's, the hole they've dug or the little cave they dig for themselves. They can wake up like that. So they're not in a full state of hibernation, but they still fatten up. So because obviously food sources during the winter months, especially in Alaska with the snow and everything else, food sources start to dwindle during the winter months. And that's why a lot of animals do go into hibernation, because there's not as much food around. So I've heard it likened to if your phone's about to go dead, your battery's about to run out, so you put it into battery saving mode, don't you, and you clear down a lot of things, so it's just running on just enough for you to use it, but that saves the battery. I've heard it likened to that. So it's where they just go rest enough just to stay alive, basically. So they are still awake, but they slow their heartbeats down and everything else, and just go into a very still state. That's just a little fact for you. You probably all know, but I found it quite interesting. So it's also called denning, apparently, which I didn't realise. So now the area where Timothy would go is apparently food rich for bears. It's got beach grasses, salmon, shellfish. They're the favourites for the bears while they're there. The visitors, like I say, it's an open park where people can view these wild bears. It's you can go in for flying. Now, when I say flying, I don't mean a huge plane. I mean, like, one of them just airplane. Oh, you plonker. Like, you see them going over water, the very small little plane, probably 8-person plane, those little things. So you could fly in on one of them for the day. You can stay overnight and set up a camp in a very safe part of these grounds, this park. But Timothy, yeah, he'd stay for the whole season. Okay. When I say he'd got fascinated, I mean this fella he'd gone all in on these bears. These bears became his life. Okay. And it was partly he wanted to raise awareness, like I say, but partly he started to believe that they could understand him in a way, and that he was they were starting to not only know him and become aware of him, but trust him, and it was becoming a mutual trust between him and these wild bears. Just saying. Okay? So, I've just seen someone out the corner of my eye. Kelly! Right, okay. Right. No, he's not. I was doing so well. Doing so well. Right, okay. If you're watching tomorrow, go into the comments and you'll see what just happened. Go into the live comments. Okay. So, where he would stay for his whole season, he'd start off at a place called the Big Green in Hallow Bay in Katmai. Okay. And like I say, over the years, so at this point now, Timothy's going back year in, year out. And over the years, he'd see the same bears each summer. Okay. And like I say, he honestly believed he'd have a mutual trust with them. And he'd even start playing with the bear cubs. You wondering what I was going to say then, didn't you? You was wondering what I was going to say. But he'd play with the bear cubs. And he'd even go as far as like touching the adult bears. Just stroking them. I don't know how to say it now without it seeming dodgy. I just don't know how to say it now. I've been thrown off completely. I genuinely don't know. But as far as I know, there was nothing. No, I'm not saying it. Anyway. So what Timothy would do, he'd document all this on your video cameras. Look how far back we're going. We're going back to the 90s, So it'd be on quite not a massive video camera, but a video camera. And over this period of time, he had over 100 hours worth of footage, this guy did. Plus pictures and stuff of these bears. And you can see there's... Oh, God. What are you doing? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if you're watching. I'm so sorry. I can't control them in my comments. I can't control them. I don't know what to do. So, anyway. So, where was I? So, pictures. So, some of these pictures would be, he'd be sat there, like, reading a book, and there'd be a massive bear, female bear, which is called... Another fun fact is called a sow. That's a cat. I'm sure I read sow. Have I just made that up? But they weren't inappropriate pictures. They were just normal pictures of the bears and him. And there's bears behind it, little cubs. Beautiful pictures. So you'd have them and obviously recordings of him with the bears. So later on in the summer season, Timothy would move his camp to a place called Koffler Bay. And what he'd actually called it, he called it the Grizzly Maze. Now, this was a better chance of coming across the bears. Close contact with the bears. Everything I'm saying is just, I know what they're going to say in the comments. But just close, appropriate contact in the with the bears, okay? But he'd get quite close with them, and the park rangers and other people that were around, they kept warning him. They kept saying they knew that these are wild bears. And although he was saying, you know, I've got this mutual respect and they know me and they love me because they're allowing me around their cubs and everything else, you know, wait. Oh, God. I didn't know they could do this to this story, people. If you're watching tomorrow, I didn't know how this could go wrong. I didn't foresee it. I genuinely didn't foresee this happening. But I'm powering through. Because I imagine in about 5 minutes they're all going to go pretty quiet. Okay. So, anyway, so we came across a place called Coughlin Park, called the Grizzly Maze. Better chance of coming across the bears. Now, during this time, you might be thinking, is he just alone or is he out on there on his own? But no, he does have a few relationships during these years that he's going out there. Brings some of the ladies out there, you know, to view the bears and stuff. Haven't got any names for these ladies at all. But around 2001, so by this point, he's been going out to Alaska for about the past 11 years. And he ends up bringing his girlfriend called Amy Hugagard. Yes, relationship. Good. I'm butchering these words today. So that's when he started bringing Amy. Now, I've also seen that Amy herself, I think she used to go out there for love of him. She was a bit fearful of the bears. You know, they're huge. They're huge bears. I'll give you a few facts on them in a second. But she wasn't overly comfortable going out there. But I've got some people who say she was, some people who say she wasn't. So it's hard to know. But while Timothy was at home, so this is while he's away for between, like I say, the end of May, beginning of June till September. The rest of the year, when he'd come home, he'd started to get a name for himself. You know, he'd started to become quite famous. He was appearing on talk shows where he'd try and share, you know, his love for these animals and how great they are, and people don't need to be scared of them, but you just have to respect them and this sort of thing. He'd go into schools to try and teach children about them. So basically, he was now known as an environmental activist. Not quite social justice warrior as we know it now, although I've heard that term used, but it doesn't strike me as quite what we know of now. But definitely environmental activists trying to save their land, and so they can you know, breed and live happily and comfortably and safe and everything else. There was hunters that used to go after these bears at certain times of the year, so he'd try and fight against that. So there was all this sort of politics going on behind it all as well. Now, he had a friend called Jewel Palavac, known this girl for 20 years, and they actually founded an organisation called the Grizzly People, and this was to protect bears and preserving their way of life. That's what I was meaning to say earlier. But like I say, there were people who just weren't impressed with him. They genuinely weren't. The National Park Service, abbreviated NPS, they used to clash with him often. Basically, they weren't happy with the fact that he would guide people who were also visiting this national park, he'd guide them around. He didn't have a license to do so. He wouldn't use bear spray. It was said that he'd used it in his very early years, and he'd felt so guilty believing that he'd hurt the bear that he'd sprayed. He swore he'd never use it again. He wouldn't put electric fencing around the camp, which you're advised to do. He would always stay so much longer than anyone's ever allowed. You're supposed to only stay there for seven days and nights. He wouldn't store food correctly. You know, I don't know if you've heard, but you're supposed to bag it up, tie it up quite high, away from your camp. You know, he just wouldn't listen. He wouldn't do as he was told, basically. So now we come up to October 2003. Okay, now, what I'm about to tell you, some people have said this is the reason, some other people have said it isn't, but I'll just tell you, this is what I've heard the most of. Now, by this point, Timothy's 46 and Amy's about 38. And rather than being back in California at this point, don't forget, remember the date I've said, it's October. And between September and November is when the bears really start trying to put on weight to go into hibernation. They try and get as much food as possible. Now, this particular year in 2003, for whatever reason, whether it was the weather or whatever reason, their food source wasn't as, you know, as much as it would be normally. So the bears were getting quite aggressive around this time, okay? But rather than being back in California, where he should have been, what had happened is on the 26th of September, when they were leaving, Timothy and Amy had gone on their little flight, you know, and when they'd got to the airport to go back to California, apparently the airline was charging them more money for the ticket. Again, I don't know how much of a fact that is, because there's some people who are saying they don't know why he chose to stay longer. But anyway, they didn't leave. They didn't leave, and they came back on the little plane, and they went back to their original campsite. Okay, so now remember I told you there was two campsites. There was, if you bear with me, I just want to get the spelling correctly. There was two campsites. There was the Camp I one, and then there was another one called Cofflea Bay. They went back to Cofflea Bay. Again, this is where you are much nearer the bears that he wants to be around. It also says that he had a favourite female bear. Oh, they're going to start again. Had a favourite female bear, and he was a bit worried about her. So it says that maybe that could have been why he went back as well. So when they got back to the campsite, Timothy and Amy noticed that the bears that he knew, that he recognised, that he'd known for years, they weren't there anymore. They weren't around anymore. They'd already left to begin their hibernation. And they'd been replaced by much bigger, much more aggressive bears that Timothy didn't know. He didn't recognise. And they still chose to stay, and he still chose to record. And one of these particular bears, i.e. unit, he called the machine. It just says it all, doesn't it? It says it all. The machine. Okay? But he did say he's genuinely not as comfortable with these bears. Now, before I get to October 6, 2003, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what I found out about bears themselves. And the reason why I found it so easy to answer the man or bear question. Okay? So, what you're told when you're around bears, you're told to make a lot of noise, Don't be too quiet. So basically, they don't want to be around us. They've no interest in us for the most part. Don't forget, there are hunters out there, so they don't want to be around us. So they do say to make noise when you're walking, wherever you're going. So a bear who, let's face it, will see you before you see him, he'll avoid you if you're making a lot of noise. Always have bear spray on you if you are staying at a campground to keep that electric fence, like I was saying, around your campground. This is what... Now, grizzly bears, which is part of the brown bear family, they can pick up a scent of anything from up to 2 miles away. 2 miles, okay? And that's apparently 7 times that of a bloodhound, all right? So don't ever try and surprise a bear creeping up. Don't, you know, again, that comes from don't be too quiet. If you do come across a bear, for God's sake, don't run. Don't do that. You automatically look like prey to them. There is a saying that's out there: if it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lay down. And if it's white, good night. Obviously, the white, regarding polar bears, they're not in the conversation I'm having, although they are in Alaska. But when I say being dropped into the woods, I'm more talking about black and brown bears, to be honest. They are omnivores, which means they don't only eat berries and grass and things like that. As I said, they like salmon, and they do eat meat. Okay, so they are omnivores. They eat both. They can run, they can climb, and they can swim faster than any man could dream of. Okay, so I'm not just on about women. We know that as a rule, men will be able to run quicker than women. They can climb quicker than women, and they can swim quicker than women. I'm not being sexist. I'm saying biologically, it's, for the most part, it's a fact. Well, bears will destroy a man in all 3 ways. Okay, so it says that a bear, especially a grizzly, can run up to 35 to 40 miles an hour. They can't run at that speed for long, but put it this way, you're not getting away. Okay, do not try and stare them down. It does say to play dead with regards to black bears. You know, it does say fight back, so try and stand as big as possible and loud as possible. Doesn't always work, especially if they've got cubs. Brown bears, lay down, play dead, try and cover your neck and organs, lay on your front. This is what they say. But again, it depends if they're hungry. If they're hungry, none of this works. None of this works. It just depends. Or, you know, if they see you as a threat and then they can see that the threat's gone away, they might leave you. But again, it depends if they're hungry. It depends if they've got cubs. It depends if it's a Saturday. It just depends. Okay? Now, the average weight of a bear, okay, females can run from 200 to 800 pounds. The average male human will be between, what, 190 to 210, 215, maybe. Just averages I'm talking about. So, yeah, female between 200 to 800 pounds. Males can run from 400 to 1,200 pounds. Kodiak bears, a subset of the brown bears. So you have brown bears, grizzlies, you've got Kodiaks. Kodiaks can run up to 2,000 pounds. Okay? Just putting it into perspective, they can go from 6 foot up to 10 foot. Alright? So it does say that polar bears are the biggest and strongest carnivore on earth, or slash omnivore, but the biggest and strongest carnivore, omnivore on earth as a total. That's on land, sorry, but on earth as a total, it's a whale shark. Just a little bit of information if you want it, just while I was researching. But the one thing I want to tell you all about bears is they eat you alive. They won't kill you to eat you. Now, if you come up against a wild animal such as a lion or a tiger, they will try and put you out of your misery as quick as possible. They don't want you fighting around. They want you out of commission as quick as possible. Now, bears don't care. And more to the point, they prefer if you're alive. So if you've ever seen a video of a bear pinning down a salmon. Now, I don't know much about salmon, personally, but apparently salmon have got much thicker skins than us. Have a look at a bear eating a salmon. It's impressive to watch them standing as in a river that's flowing past them and they're just stood there. They're not moving, okay? And you watch them just grab the salmon out and you watch them just eat the salmon live. And the salmon's moving throughout the whole experience and it just eats like it's eating a chocolate bar. And apparently their skin's much, much tougher than ours to get through. And it is literally like this bear's eating. Looks at a chocolate bar, it's just ripping it. It's just ripping it. And looking around while he's doing it. So, just as point of reference, they eat you alive, okay? So, in fact, they prefer that. They prefer you to be alive, okay? So, like I say, we'll go back again. So, we go to October the 6th, 2003. Now, a man called Willie Fulton, he's a Kodiak air taxi pilot. That's what I was doing. It's an air taxi. It's like a very little plane. He arrives to pick the couple up. He arrives to pick Timothy and Amy up. And the only thing in the empty campsite was a huge bear. That's all that's there. Okay? So the park rangers are called and they begin a search for the couple. We know where this is going. Okay? They quickly find Timothy's head completely disfigured. They find his partial spine. And they find his right hand and his forearm with his watch still attached. That's it. Okay, Amy, her remains were found kind of next to their destroyed tents. And she was covered by sticks and leaves. And that's another thing that I will tell you about bears. If they, while they're eating you, while you're alive, if they just fancied a quick snack and they don't want to finish you, what they'll do, they'll just put you in a corner and they will cover you with leaves and sticks so they can come back for a snack. That's what they do. Whether you are alive or dead at that point, they'll just kind of cover you up and they'll come back for you when they fancy it. Which is why the bear, when the taxi air pilot came back, which is why the bear was still surrounding the camp, because she was hidden and that's his food and he's not willing to give it up. So the bear, like I say, who was guarding the campsite, was shot and killed. There was a second bear, an adolescent bear, who was around the area as well, who again was quite aggressive. It was that time period when all the bears become aggressive. Now, these bears, remember what I said, these weren't the original bears that Timothy was used to seeing. He knew full well that come the end of September, he shouldn't have been there any longer. He knew just how dangerous it was going to get once those bears start trying to bulk up to go into hibernation. He knew full well he'd been studying these bears at this point for 13 years. 13 years he'd gone, he'd petted their cubs, he'd been, you know, documenting it for all these years, and somehow, some way, luckily, he was getting away and making it home every year. But in my opinion, he just had to push it. He just had to, because they knew when they got back that the bears that were now who'd replaced the bears that he recognised weren't the bears that he knew. He knew that. He even says he was uncomfortable. These were big bears. I'm presuming male because of the size of them. Like I say, this is all recorded. So you see the bear he called the Machine. Now, we don't know, is that the bear that went on to do this? We don't know. But he had ample warning. And the fact that 2 bears got shot and killed because he couldn't heed a warning, I know which way I fall down in this conversation, because he was very loved. He had a loyal fan base, Timothy did, who just thought he was this amazing guy who was out to save the bears, and you know, he was an environmentalist and he was very well liked. And when this happened, you know, they were very much against the bears. Well, you were against a bear for bearing. You were against a bear for doing what a bear does. So, as you can tell, I weren't too impressed about the whole thing. But when the bear who'd been guarding the campsite it's not called an autopsy, it's called, I couldn't pronounce it. I should have written it down because I couldn't pronounce half of it tonight, but the equivalent of an autopsy. When they went inside, they found fingers and limbs that would belong to Timothy and Amy. So that was the bear that killed them, but we don't know if that was the bear that he'd caught on camera, i.e. the Machine. Okay. Now, Timothy and Amy were the only people killed by a bear in the 85-year history of that park being established. He was warned. He was told. They allowed him to do what he did during the summer time period. You know, they weren't happy about it, these park rangers. None of them were happy about it. Professors who'd studied bears said it's only a matter of time, but I don't know if it was ego or he genuinely believed he had this affinity with the bears. I don't know, but he had to push it as far as I'm concerned. He had to push it. And it was said that Amy did not want to go back. Now, again, it's all speculation, but it's said that she did not want to go back to that campground. And he insisted upon it. Okay? Now, you might be like, how do we know what actually happened? I'll tell you how we know what happened to a degree. We can't hear it. It's never been released to the public. But it was presumed that on the 5th, now remember they were found on October the 6th. On October the 5th, which was the date of a tape that was found in the video camera, okay? So this would have been the night before the air taxi came in. There was a recording. Okay, and they don't know if it was Timothy had asked Amy to press play on the video recorder. Don't forget, he documented everything. Or she'd pressed it, it'd been pressed by accident, it had been pressed but the cap was kept on, or it was in a bag and it had been switched on by mistake. No one can fully say why this recording even happened, but there was a 6-minute tape found. And remember, never been released to the public. Now, you can go online and there are sites and on Google, and it's like, listen to Timothy Treadwell's last 6 minutes. Don't do it. It's not real. I don't know who's pulling it out there, why they're doing it. It's not him. It's not her. It's never been released to the public. But of course, people did hear it. And it was put in a film called The Grizzly Man, which was released in 2005. Not the actual sound, because there was no video footage. What would you call it? There was no actual video footage. It's just audio that you can hear. Obviously, that wasn't put in, but this fella who made the film had heard the footage, is what I'm trying to say. In the 6-minute audio, you can hear Timothy and Amy whispering. You can hear her say, "Is he still outside?" You can hear Timothy open his tent. He opened the tent, okay? Remember, he didn't do the electric fence. He wouldn't use bear spray. And he chose to open the tent. Now, don't get me wrong. A bear wants to come into the tent. He's coming in. But I'm just saying, I can't help but call it, I don't want to say arrogant. I don't want to go too hard. Do you know what? I'll keep that opinion to myself. But anyway, he opens the tent, right? He goes out, and next thing you can hear is a gut-wrenching, guttural scream from Timothy saying, "God, he's killing me." And at this point, he's clamped onto his head. Because again, the thing about bears, they like to go for the head and they like to remove it. Okay? No, it sounds brutal, but that's what they did. Okay? That's what they do. So, you can hear that. You can hear Amy saying, "Play dead, play dead." Kind of screaming, "Play dead." So, next thing you know, it goes quiet and the bear walks away. Okay, you can hear it walking away. Because he's played dead, Timothy has, right? She moves towards him because it says she had some sort of medical knowledge. She moves towards him. They're kind of talking very quietly. And next thing you know, the bear comes back. Ugh. You can hear guttural screaming again. You can hear that he's trying to hit him with a frying pan. The bear... now, this has all been transcribed and everything else, but apparently this is what you can hear. And eventually he starts saying, "Run away." He starts screaming. He knows by that point it's all over. He knows it's over. He's had it. Screaming at her, "Run away, run away." So anyway, he gets dragged away by this bear, whether it be the bear he's called the Machine or not. He's dragged away by the bear. But she keeps screaming. And apparently, hunters said that it's a sound, the sound she was making is a sound that they use, hunters of bears use. And it's, her screaming would have sounded like a small animal, a small injured animal. And so when he took Timothy away, he came back for her. And that's when you can hear her screaming. Like, not the screaming she had been doing. Very different. Guttural. The scream. And then the tape runs out. And that's how we know what happened with them. And it's very sad. It's very sad. But he was warned. He was told. Hello? You were told. You'd been given a pass 13 years in a row. And you weren't happy. And you pushed it too far. But like I say, there was a film made called The Grizzly Man in 2005. There was The Grizzly Man Diaries in 2008, which was a series. Diary of a Grizzly Man in 2008, another series, but different directors. So that was the story of that was the story of Timothy Treadwell. And it's very sad. It really is. You know, I'm part of me's like, why didn't you listen? I can't help thinking it was like Ego who said that he could be quite aggressive with the park rangers when he was being told not to stick around and, you know, to be careful and being told what to do and how to handle him. It was like he considered these bears his family and that they were considering him as part of their family. And okay, fine, if it had been one of those bears that had done it, who'd accepted him year in, year out, you could say, well, you know, a bear's gonna bear, but that's how he got caught out. But these weren't the bears he'd been around. These weren't the bears that he'd got to know. These were bears he'd never seen before because he'd never been there at that time of year before. And for whatever reason, you could think ego, you could think it was because he was worried about that particular female bear. It could have been because the price of the air ticket was too expensive, but why go back to that place? I don't know. But Amy and Timothy paid with their lives, and it's very sad, and it was very sad as far as I'm concerned that the two bears got killed for just doing what bears do. I've already explained what bears do. They wait. They eat you alive. This is what they do. And he would have known that. So, okay. So that was the story of Timothy Treadwell. And now, I'd like to ask all the funny holes in me comments. And if you're watching tomorrow, now, if you was airdropped into the woods, okay, just airdropped, no variables, just random, would you prefer to come across a random bear or a random man? What's your answer now? Has everyone still got the same opinion? Is everyone still saying they'd prefer to come across the bear? Or has it changed your mind slightly? Or would you still want to take your chances with the bear? What's your opinion? What do we think? What do we think? Come on, don't go all quiet now. All funny holes in the comments. What are we saying? Are we going for the, would you prefer to come up against a bear or a man? You could come up against, oh, say bear because I wouldn't mess with them. So you'd still say a bear because you wouldn't mess with them. Okay, I'm gonna, do you know what? Everyone entitled to their own opinion, but let me just tell you something again. Let me just, because I don't know if you were listening. Okay? Okay? Because why did you say bear still? Because you wouldn't mess with them. Okay, that's what you're saying, aren't you? But it's not that you wouldn't mess with them. You come up against a bear. So you're dropped in the woods. Ha ha, there's a bear in front of you. Or it could be a man. Who are we going for? Who are you fancying your chances with? Let's remember, a bear or just still a bear. Oh, that hit me in my soul, that did. But anyway, a bear can run, climb, swim faster than you. Hayley, thank you. My opinion exactly. My opinion exactly. She thinks she's funny, Kelly. She thinks she's really amusing. She does. But, yes. And that's why when I heard so many, and it was mainly girls, women, sorry, saying that they would choose the bear, I was like, what? What are you talking about? Okay, you could come up, let's just say you do come up against a wrong gun. It would be a man. Okay, fair enough. But what I mean is, let's just say you do come up against a dodgy blow. Let's just say. And don't get me wrong, I'm not stupid. I know why, especially women, are saying they'd prefer to take the chances with a bear instead of a man. Because a lot of people's beliefs are, when they've been asked this question, the reason it's gone viral, a lot of... Same, Kelly, same. I can't go anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. But yeah, I think a lot of people's beliefs are that a bear is just going to kill you. That was the response. Well, a bear is just going to kill me. I know he's going to kill me, and that's all he can do. If I come up across against the wrong man, think of all, your brain goes, your imagination goes, he could do this, he could torture you, he could keep you for weeks. We're on a true crime, for goodness sake, true crime channel. So we know how evil you'd rather eat a man. Exactly, same Phil, same. So we know just how bad men can be, okay? I'm not denying that. I'm not saying we don't know how bad a man can be. I understand that. But bears eat you alive. They eat you alive. And then they want to try and keep you alive because they prefer you alive while they eat you alive. And then they save you for a snack after. And then I don't know, they keep you for seconds, or what would you call it? You take away. What do you call it when you're in a restaurant and you get a takeaway box? They put you aside because they're full and they'll come back to you after. I mean, I don't know about you, and I know I've come up against some horrific cases. I genuinely have. But not many of them are cannibals. Just throwing it out there. We know they're out there. We know there's cannibals out. Doggy bag. That's it. Oh, God. Oh. Sounds terrible, doesn't it? Sounds terrible. Sounds terrible. But yeah, it's, oh, that threw me. But... how many of these men, and I not, again, do you know what a man can do? Yes, I do. But the point is, you don't know what man you're coming up. It's a random man. So yes, it could be the dregs of the earth. It's a random bear. It's still a bear. It's a bear. A doggy bag for a bear. Why? We were doing so well. We were doing so well. But there was that. And then, what was it? Oh, what was I going to say then? I was going to say something then. So, you threw me off again. You threw me off. I know. You got me to say it. What was I going to say? They switched it up, didn't they? They changed it. Oh, this is it. Now let me tell you how silly it was. Let me tell you just how silly this question was. Now, like I say, it's from the whatever podcast. So, the question began, dropped in the woods, who would you prefer to come up against, man or bear? They all chose the bear, okay? Now, remember, let's just remember that. All chose the bear. So then, the presenter says, okay, okay, so now you're in the woods, right? You come up against a bear. He's after you. All of a sudden, you find a man who's also lost. Do you go and ask him for help? They all said yes. Make that make sense to me. Make that make sense to me. You want to choose the bear, but then when the bear's running at you and you find a man who's also in the woods, you would go and ask the man for help. Make that make sense to me. So this is where this whole thing came from, and I just thought it would be something different. Because I was very confused. And I think it might have been because I'd learnt some things about bears, especially after hearing. It was from Mr. Borland. I don't know if he's watched his channel. He's amazing. Where I very, very first heard about this story, Timothy Treadwell, a couple of years ago. And I started a fascination. But I never thought it had become a fascination that I'd actually do the story. It was only when all this came about and it went viral and it was a whole big thing. And I was like, really? You're choosing the bear? So, yeah, that's where it came from. So, yeah, what did we think of that one? It's a bit different, weren't it? Bit of a different one for you all out there. What did we think? I managed to power through just about. No thanks to some of the comments. Yeah, we've always a very strange man, dude. Who said it? Doggy bag for a bear. Are we all playing nice in the comments? Oh, still right. Yes, Phil, meet a man. Kelly's a man. Hayley's a man. Tiffany's a man. Warwick, I know, is a man. And I think you can all be bears because of man. So I think you can tell from my opinion that mine would be a man too. I think I know I said it at the end, but I think I gave it away within 5 minutes of telling the story what mine would be. And yes, 100%. Come up against a man. I mean, let's face it. It depending on which. Bear, we know what's going to happen, but depending on which man you're coming up against, what are your chances? It's not a good scenario, is it? But I'm still taking my chance with the man. Let me just say that. I'm just throwing that out there. Because a lot of the girls, when they were asked, they were like, well, it could be 50-50 in it. So you believe 50% of the men in the country given half a chance would hurt you? And so is that what we think of men in the country? Is that what we think of? Just asking, just throwing it out there. It's just such a low opinion, which is where we've got to now, which I think is really sad. I think it's really, really sad. Have you never come up against a man, Jess? Actually, I have. And I can honestly say it, and for breakfast, Warwick, but I didn't want to be too cocky. Just saying. But no, I know my limits, and I know that for the most part, if it's Tim Hardy, then he can do what he wants to me. Take me away. I know he'll try and give me back. He'll try and send me back. He'd be like, no, absolutely not. I want another one. I'm not having this one. But no, I think we've forgotten that biologically, we don't stand a lot of chance. Of course there's outliers. I understand that. I understand there's outliers out there and there's brick shithouse women and there's very small men. I get that. But I'm just saying, as a standard, I understand that men are physically stronger. Can he spit on his thing? We nearly got all the way through. We nearly did it. We nearly did it. Nearly all the way through. I was so glad that it hadn't come up in the comments as well. I was so glad. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. It's 3 days. We started this last Thursday. I was trying to explain to someone. I was trying to explain to somebody that, because I'm reading it out, because if someone's watching, they're not just going to want me doing this. So that's what I read it out, and then I don't, my brain doesn't connect with my mouth. It's like, oh my, every time, and I thought I'm going to make it all the way through, and I'm not going to be spitting on my mic, spitting on my mic. No. The female of the species. But we are deadlier, but not physically. If you get what I mean. We're not physically deadlier. We're more cunning and conniving, I would say. So I'll give you that. Definitely more cunning and conniving. But obviously not physically. For the most part. They say that, obviously not in this country, but they're saying American guns are an equaliser, but when the other sex got one too, no, not really. But we are more slow. I'll give you that. Anyway. But, oh, got it. We are definitely stronger. We're definitely stronger. See, this is what's going on. It's all crazy. But I just thought it might be a good discussion. A good discussion for us all. What are we all doing the weekend anyway? Are we all up to anything exciting? Tiffany's all excited for a holes next week. I might be coming to you from Skegness in a week and a bit. Hot. I am still here, Phil. I am. Do you know what? Oh, pat yourself on the back, boy, don't you? I don't know what this is. This is new. This is what you've brought out in me, this reaction. That's what you've brought out in me. That's exactly what's happened now. And I was so good. I've been so good this evening. Tried to keep it on track. I know it went off the rails a couple of times, but for the no. I'm not doing. I'm being gone again. Not happening. It's not happening. Do you know, I don't trust myself to speak, Kelly. That's why. Because what would come out of my mouth would be horrific. It'd be horrific. So I have to just... Otherwise, it'd just be a whole load of verbal. And I just hold it together. That's the silence that you hear. Because I have to just stop until I trust myself to speak again. She's a bugger. She really is. I try and make sure I don't swear for the most part on these stories. And she just... So I have to try and... think of something other than what's going through my head at that particular time. She really is naughty. She really is. What am I encouraging? Because of my mic. Is it because of my mic? Is that what it is? It could be. I didn't stick a rose on her tonight. That could be what it is. But I've just been fab, haven't... Has the sound been okay tonight? I mean... Obviously, I'm going to take this off now, though. It's driving me crazy. Really, I've done it again with the earrings. It really hurts by the end, I tell you. I might not take it off at the minute because then I have to disconnect the mic and it's a whole thing. Did I tell you what it was the other night? Why it wasn't connecting? Apparently, you can't press live before you've put the mic in. You put the mic, if you try and put the mic in after you've pressed live, it doesn't work. That was the whole thing the other night. But I didn't put a rose on it. I didn't tonight. I didn't put it on tonight, so. But the other night when I did, it all went wrong, so I thought I'm not, what's the word? I'm not jinxing anything. Mick the dick. Mick, that's like... It's not. I thought it was Stevie Mix. I thought that's what we were calling it. They do. They encourage terrible. They're just a really bad influence. All of yous are. You can't talk, Warwick. You threw me off at least twice tonight. How did you know? Okay. Anyway, well, they all have a little nada. If you are watching tomorrow and you'd like to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/Jess Rose 5472. Tuesday is our request evening. Kelly's given me a nightmare request. It is. We're nearly at the jingle. Oh, hi, Sharon. How are you? I'm just about to go. You're nearly here for jingle time. Where have you been? You missed that man versus bear sort of discussion that they had to drag down to the gutter as they do. But we got to the end. It's getting all flustered. I know, it's terrible. It gets thrown through a loop every time. Well, at least for the past 3 lives. It's such a shame. It's just, I don't know why I'm saying I say such a shame for myself as well. I feel sorry for myself. I'm just trying to keep it all above board. And then before you know it, I'm spitting on my mic. And it's all gone pear. But I'll be getting a nut tomorrow. Oh, no, really? You love the long ones, Jess, don't you? See how I whispered it. See how I'm whispering it now. I'm having to. I've got a real feeling there's one coming through in a minute and I'm spitting on my mic. I did say that though. I did. That one's okay. He's getting up to. Oh, what's happening, Sharon? What's wrong? Only if you want to say. Only if you want to share. If it's not private. Is he okay? We should all come up with a warning. You should all come with a warning, all of us. Slapped on the thing. But the whole channel should come with a warning. You mean you have... Nearly. So close again. 3 times. Is it 3 times again tonight? I'm sure you have. Oh no. Oh, Sharon, I didn't realise that, Sharon. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. That's awful. So, what is the operation for? Yeah, I do really... I'm being really invasive now. I'm sorry. I really hope it goes well. So, Kelly's not really... understanding. There's me. What's it all about? I'm so nosy. I think we should just... Yeah, I'm so sorry. That's awful. It's really... I just didn't realise. I don't even know what to say. Sharon, I genuinely don't. I just hope it goes well. You're going to... What? Do you want to let us know in the Patreon? If you just want to chat or you want to... I don't know. Just have a vent or anything, I suppose. We're here, us girlies are here. If you do want to chat. Kelly, I think we should just come out. Did I miss that? I don't know the reference to that. I've missed the reference to that one. Warwick. but Tiffany finds it very funny, so I've obviously missed something there. But yes, it is jingled at the opera is not to do with the guns. I really hope it goes well, Sharon. I genuinely do. I really hope it goes well for him. And yeah, just yeah. If you need a chat or anything else, just pop in the Patreon. Obviously, it won't be blasted out to everyone. So just going for a splash test. Yeah, in my spit. Why? Didn't even think before I said that. I don't know what happens. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what just happened there. Oh no, don't be silly, Sharon. Don't be silly, not at all. They've been very funny in the comments. They have caught me out a couple of times, but I managed to power through. It was just that I wanted to put across that man versus bear question that's been going viral, so I thought it might be a bit different for tonight. So I thought I'd put that. Tiffany, I swear. You haven't caught me. No. So this is getting too porno. Don't worry, this isn't anything compared to last Thursday. They were on fire last Thursday. Honestly, it was scary. It was scary because it was one after the other. They were on fire. Poor Phil just didn't know. It was just such a shame. And then there was, I don't know, Jessica hasn't joined us tonight, has she? She just completely phased us out though last week, didn't she? She just carried on discussing the story. I felt ever so bad. Is that a big tongue at the corner? No, it's my Mick. It's me Mick is what it is. It's me Mick. I know, I didn't put a rose on her. The new Dirk Diggler. What's a Dirk Diggler? What's that? That's those all jesting. No, Hayley, you were in there. Just as bad. What's a Dirk Diggler? Is that an obvious one? Dirk Diggler. Does it stand for something? Oh, I'm just pants, I know. I ruin a joke. I genuinely do, because you have to explain it to me and then it's not funny anymore. I'm really bad. I'm really, really bad. But jingle time, if you are watching to... Was it? No, that was that other fella, Wernie. Do you remember that? Oh, that real sleazy looking fella. What was his name now? He had long hair, didn't he? Little fella. I never got why he was a top porn star. I never got it. I can't think of his name. Ron Jeremy. Yes, that's exactly who I'm thinking of. Boogie Nights. Do you know, I've heard of that. I've just never seen it. Is that the reference? Oh, I haven't seen. I had heard of it though. It's quite an old one. I've never seen it. I will have to have a look. Is that a character name from it then, Dirk Diggler? I like that though. It's quite a good name. And Ron Jeremy, yes, that's the sleazy looking fella, isn't it? Yeah, I never got why he was so famous either. You are going to think I know them all now. Yeah, all of them just off the cuff. I didn't know. But we're kindred spirits because I knew who you were on about and you knew who I was on about, should I say. So there we go. Because he had a third. Yeah, wasn't he? Yeah. And there's another one, although he's not a porn star, called, I don't know if you've ever watched The Housewives, but he's called Bolo. If you haven't heard of Bolo, yeah, it's scary. It's a scary piece of furniture. What do you call it? Furniture? Equipment. That's what I meant. Furniture. no, it's the equipment, not furniture. I know what I mean. I've tickled myself there. I found myself very funny there. So, yeah. But, and you don't want you feeling adequate. So, it was just me. I just tickled myself then. Feeling adequate. Oh, you know what? There's like midget porn and stuff. I can't pull that back, can I? His appendage. So I'm gonna mask over what I just said. His appendage, his equipment, his appendages. Tiffany, I know. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I was trying to make Warwick feel better, and it just all. I'll be honest. It's just that's that's what I thought I was going. Oh God, it's all gone. It's all gone way of the pear again, hasn't it? It's all just gone off the rails again. Right. Phil, I'm doing the jingle now. Phil asked for the jingle about 10 minutes ago, so we're doing the jingle. It's if you want to watch tomorrow. I'm only a little fella, but I'm pretty good. If you say so yourself. If you say so, you're leprechaun. Are you a little leprechaun, little fella? Oh, it's all gone too far. Too far. What is wrong with my speech tonight? Look at what you're doing to me. If you are watching tomorrow, if you're still watching tomorrow somehow, if you'd like to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/Jess Rose. This came after. Patreon.com/Jess Rose 5472. Or if you'd like to look, comment, subscribe, guys. Look, comment and subscribe, guys. Look, comment, subscribe. I'd appreciate, please, look, comment and subscribe. Please, I'd appreciate it. What was it? They say good things come in small packages. That's what I tell my boobs. Well, look, it's all gone. It's all gone. It's all gone by the wayside. So it's all gone pear and I'm being dragged down with you. So I will see you all on Tuesday. With, I believe it's Kelly's story, but Kelly's giving me a really hard one. Kelly, I'll try and have it ready. I will try and have it ready for you. Pear-shaped, it's gone way of the pear. It's gone way beyond the pear. But yes, I will see you all on Tuesday, 8 o'clock. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Warwick and Phil and Sharon. And Tiffany and Hayley and Kelly. I don't know if I've seen Natalie tonight. I think that was it. Is that everyone? Have I got everyone there? Stop splashing around. Just, do you know? Just determined. I'm not doing it. I'm not getting dragged in. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. So, good luck for your husband tomorrow as well, Sharon. And, yeah, thank you guys. Oh, says any of the getting. That's very good. That's very good. I'm keeping that. I haven't actually heard that one. I know, that's what I was thinking. I've got, they're just none now. It's just all, this is why you only see me from here and above. It's just all terrible now. But no, yes, Sharon, yeah, if you need a message, just come through on Patreon. And yes, it has, Kelly. Yes, it has, everyone. Phil, I'm sorry it all got dragged down again to the gutter, as it does. Hayley does the total clap. What? Does the total clap. What am I doing? What do you mean? But that wasn't me. Should I say blast? Being a blast. I know. It's all got, do you know what? There's so many innuendos. It's crazy. I don't know which one's an innuendo. I don't know people speaking. Hayley clap. I know, Warwick, I don't know that one. I'm lost too. I'm lost too in this. I'm lost too in that one. But yes. So I will see you all next Tuesday. Look at this. Look at the sweat all over my face again. And yeah. Like I say, Kelly, I'll try and have your story done. Who has the cup? I don't know. Hayley apparently, but I don't know. And on that, I'm going to leave it there. Whoever's got the clap. We're just going to have to do a normal live again soon, aren't we? We're going to have to do it. We're just going to have to bring back just a normal live. Tick clap. Like, comment and subscribe, guys. Like, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you all on Tuesday. Like, comment and subscribe, guys. Shake that did. Like, comment and subscribe, guys.